From Las Vegas, Nevada, we welcome you to the podcast Real Estate Talk with JC Castillo. JC Castillo and guest.
Good morning, Las Vegas. My name is JC Castillo, and we are here at Equity Title Studios with the podcast Real Estate Talk with JC Castillo and his guest. And today we have a very special guest. He is one of the branch managers for Berkshire Hathaway, and I'm really happy and excited that he's here because he's going to be talking about what the current state of the real estate market in Las Vegas is. So we're going to go ahead and give our good introduction to David. David, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing excellent, David. So like I told the audience, you're the branch manager up in Berkshire Hathaway, and give me a little bit of background. How long you've been in the industry? You know, your expertise of what's happening, with your career right now, and let's go ahead and have people get to know you.
Okay. So I originally got my license in 2018, and then my broker salesperson license in 2022.
Okay.
Real estate's actually a second career for me. Prior to that, I was in mergers and acquisitions, and I joined Berkshire Hathaway just 6 months ago, actually, as the branch manager for their Southwest office.
Nice. Very good. Very good. And you mentioned that you have you got your real estate license in 2018, and then you got your broker broker license. Mm-hmm. Tell me, and so that people know the difference, because when clients are using you as the real estate agent, they're not just using you as an agent. You have your actual broker license. Mm-hmm. What's the difference between one license and the other, so people could understand the caliber of agent that they have in their hands when they're working with you?
Okay. So a broker salesperson license basically requires additional education and testing.
Okay.
That you need to take and then pass. And what it does, it's simply a certification that indicates a higher level of expertise when it comes to real estate.
Okay.
Also, with most brokerages, in order to be in a leadership position, you have to have a broker salesperson license.
Okay.
There are different levels of broker salesperson license. There's the base level, which is what active real estate agents will get, as opposed to being a realtor. Then there is the level where I am. It's a broker salesperson, and after my license number, you'll see the initials MGR. It means manager.
Oh.
It means I have signing authority on behalf of the brokerage. I'm allowed to sign contracts. I'm allowed to manage and mentor and work with agents from a leadership position. And then above that is a license that's mine is a BS, broker salesperson. There's a B, that's a broker. That's for a corporate broker. That's the person with a brokerage who has ultimate compliance responsibility. So there's multiple levels.
Very good, and that's really important, because when you're actually active, you're actively helping people buying and selling homes.
Absolutely,
right now.
Yes. Yeah.
They need to understand that you've done your work, you've done all your certifications that you have. So they're dealing with somebody than just a normal real estate agent. I mean, you really understand the market, and you really are kind of guide them to the best of your ability for them to make the best decision, because really that's what real estate agents should be doing, right? Giving the information and saying, hey, this is what we think, but at the end of the day, the buyer and the seller are the ones that make the final decision on what they want to do with their real estate transaction. Isn't that correct?
Absolutely, yes. And that's why a number of realtors choose to get their broker salesperson license, because it is an indication of an individual that has gone through additional training, additional testing. We have a higher level of CE credits that we need to obtain when we renew our license. So that's why a lot of real estate agents choose to earn that designation. It's just the next step.
So it's kind of like getting your master's degree when you go to college.
Absolutely, yes.
Oh, that's very cool.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah, that's awesome, because again, right, people need to understand that selecting the real estate agents, especially in this market right now, the way that it is, it's extremely important. You need to have somebody that's knowledgeable of the market, because anybody could sell a home. Anybody could put a listing together, and anybody could put a yard sign on the property and put it in the MLS. But at the end of the day, the strategy of actually getting your property sold right now is more important than ever, because everybody's thinking that the sky is falling.
Right.
And the reason why I wanted you to be here is because I'm always sitting in your sales meetings, and I love the fact that you're always educating your agents with the current stats of what's really happening in the real estate market. And, yesterday we had a meeting and, we were talking about interest rates and everything. And then you brought up a whole bunch of great stats that I said, you know what, I think people really need to understand that the sky is not falling. Yes, it's a little bit difficult depending on how you're looking at the market, but the market is stable and it's not going to crash, or everybody says there's a bubble. There's no bubble that's going to burst. It's just the correction of the market. The industry is it's a very healthy market right now.
Yeah.
And everybody says, is it a buyer's market or seller's market? No, it's like, if you want to buy, you should be buying. You should not wait to buy. Can you give us a little bit of why you love stats and why you like to educate your real estate agents in your firm so they also understand this information? Because it's crucial when you're dealing with buyers and sellers, right?
Absolutely, I can. I do want to say one last thing with
Yes.
regards to the broker salesperson license, because you brought it up.
Please.
In order for a realtor to qualify for a broker salesperson license, they either need a certain level of college education or number of years experience as a licensed realtor. So
Okay.
there are division requirements that agents have to meet in order to earn, or in order to even have the opportunity to earn their broker salesperson license.
Okay.
With regards to the market and with stats, people get very hung up on saying, well, is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? And everybody loves to look at numbers. And I think an issue that a lot of people have, both agents and prospective clients have, is they love to listen to the talking heads on TV.
Yes.
And what most people don't understand is that regardless of the market, whether it is a buyer's market or a seller's market or a balanced market, there are always going to be individuals that need to buy and sell homes. And they need to do so for a variety of reasons, right? Relocation, downsizing, upsizing, change in family dynamic, change in purchase power. There's always a reason why people are buying or selling a home. Because for most people, their home is the single largest investment they're ever going to make. But it's more than that,
Right.
because it's their home, right?
Right.
It's where you go at the end of the day. It's your palace of solitude. It's where you can just exhale and be. So the psychological component of being a homeowner is also a variable that needs to take into consideration. One of the things that we pride ourselves here on at Berkshire Hathaway is giving our agents not only the tools to provide the highest level of service to their clients, but also giving them the information to help their clients make the best decisions they possibly can, whether they're buying and selling. And that's where stats come in. That's where understanding what the market is doing and being able to give that visibility so that it's not hype or the sky is falling or yes, buy now, but actual data that helps people understand where we are. Because what happened during COVID and, the days of 2% and 3% mortgage rates is the same anomaly that happened in the late 1990s when we saw interest rates 13 to 14%,
Right.
15%, 18%. They're the type of things, they're truly a once in a lifetime, maybe, fluke.
Right.
And then the market adjusts. But if you look at interest rates where they are now, and you compare them to a 20-year average, or even if you go back to like 2017, 2018, 2019, interest rates are really where they should be. Historically, interest rates fluctuate between, if we're lucky, 5.5% to 7.5%.
Yeah.
Anything in between is really what mortgage rates in the United States have been. And likewise, when we look at inventory, especially here in Southern Nevada, it's extremely crucial to remember that we have a very transient population, right?
Yes.
We have a lot of people coming into us from states like California, New York, New Jersey, actually the whole, East Coast and Mid-Atlantic area, and from different places in the Midwest where real estate is significantly more expensive. So when there's people come to our market and they see their buying power here, all along, while it may seem to people who have been in Southern Nevada for a minute that, home prices are rising drastically, on a national average, Southern Nevada offers a tremendous value for dollar when it comes to home prices across every possible range, whether you're talking about, garden condominiums, townhouses, luxury single-family homes, high-rises. We really provide a value. I mean, an example that I used with someone just the other day, if you compare, a 2,200 square foot, 2-bedroom condo here in Las Vegas to a 2,200 square foot, 2-bedroom condo on the Upper East Side of Manhattan.
Jeez.
It's not even, it's completely two different realms.
Yeah.
And when you look at the statistics, which I brought some with me, when you look at average days on market, inventory, new listings, when you compare it nationally, we're still in a very aggressive market. There are still homes that are selling, both the ugly homes and the beautiful homes. Key in our market right now is pricing. Is the home priced correctly to attract enough buyers to look at it?
Yeah.
Because when enough buyers look at it, you end up getting offers, and then you have transactions, and you have, new people buying homes and people selling homes.
You know what? Let me cut you in right there, because I think that the pricing of the home is extremely crucial.
It is.
A lot of sellers, they're very emotionally attached to their home, and they think that their house that is, $500,000-$600,000 home, they're worth $1 million, because that's the pride and joy of ownership. But the reality is that the stats and the numbers, they don't lie. They tell you a totally different story. And I love your strategy, because I hear you week after week after week talking to your real estate agent and said, you have to be very assertive with the stats. You have to be very assertive with the numbers. The numbers could only help you to make sense on what is the best price to sell, because anybody could list a home. And I know you have the days on the market, and we're going to talk about that, but you don't want to be one of those agents that have been sitting in the market for 30, 40, 50 days that feels like 50 years, right? And then you get into a transaction, and then all of a sudden there might be some issues or not repairs. The property really needs to be prepared to be sold and not do a half of the job done where, they're minor repairs and we'll do them through the transaction, because that is not going to help with the value of the home. Explain to the audience how important it is for the agent to really be very assertive of what the information you're bringing into the potential seller, so like that they could see the bigger picture. Because the seller really, like I said, they want the most amount of money for their home. But the market has shifted. And I tell everybody, it's not that the market it's falling down or the prices are dropping. They're being corrected, because for a long time we were a little bit overvalued, and I think we're still between $15,000 to $20,000 in some areas overvalued. I think that would, if they would adjust the market within that price range, we should have a little bit more contracts being put together, because there is room of negotiation right now. And the best time for a buyer right now is to buy, because there is a lot of inventory. So let's talk a little bit about those stats. Days on the market, what does that really mean for a buyer and a seller? Because it means it's the same thing, but it could be looked at by by both of the parties in totally different ways of negotiating. So talk to me about days in the market.
So when you touch base with regards to sellers, because we'll look at it from both sides. Okay. So helping sellers understand that the emotional and nostalgic value that they've attached to their home doesn't transfer to a buyer, right? Anyone who has children, most people I should say who have children, somewhere in their home they're going to have those little hash marks that indicate when their child grew, right? And in our case, in my home, excuse me, it's in the pantry. And what I try to explain to people is, a buyer, that's the first thing they're going to paint over, because there's no value to a buyer. Your memories have no value to a stranger. Right?
Correct.
So when you look at a home as a listing agent and you evaluate it during the listing presentation, you have to be brutally honest with the sellers, but you have to also likewise take into consideration people's feelings. Obviously, when we're talking about preparing a home for a listing, things that I always recommend is, listen, take down personal photographs, right? We want people who are coming to look at the house to feel a connection, to imagine their pictures on the walls, not yours, right? Any minor repairs, do them in advance, but perhaps avoid doing any major renovations because people have this misconception of, well, I'm going to do this major renovation and the house is then going to add, I'm going to spend $50,000 and it's going to be worth $80,000. Most renovations, that's simply not the case. And the idea is to price the home based on the condition and location of the home.
Correct.
What condition is the home in and where is it located, right? And in doing so, that's where days on market for sellers comes in, right? Because we look at an average days on market. For instance, if you're talking about, a $500,000 home here in Clark County, on average, you're looking at 105 days on market. But that takes into account the homes that sell right away because they're priced correctly and they are the type of home that is located in an area that's going to sell, and the homes that are maybe priced incorrectly, the homes that maybe are going to appeal to a very small, specific number of buyers. So when we say 105 days, it's an average. And it takes into account all of the variables. But when speaking to a seller, when speaking to any client, it's extremely important that real estate agents set the proper expectation at the beginning of the process, right? JC, your $500,000 house, the average sale time is 105 days. That means it could be from anywhere from 0 days to 105 plus days, because again, that's the average, so there's a top end. Speaking for me personally, when I list a home, I try to price it competitively. It doesn't mean I underprice it. It means I look at the data based on the comparables, and I try to figure out what's a price that is going to drive people to it, might make them want to see it, and also give us the opportunity, if we're fortunate enough, to get into a multiple offer situation that will help bring the price and the conditions back up and make them more favorable for my seller. A lot of agents try to go to the high end of the market right away, and in my opinion, that's a disservice, but everybody does it differently. Speaking for me personally, if you look at my 12-month stats, not only have more than 90% of the homes that I've worked with sellers on sold above asking, but they've actually sold above both the average and median price for comparables of those homes. Comparables being similar homes in size, shape, design, area, so on and so forth. Basically what an appraisal would be based on. Also, too, for 2025, with my listings taking into account the statistic I just gave you, the average days on market I had for my listings was 16.
Oh, wow.
So it showed that I was working with my sellers and they were open to this, because ultimately it's their decision to price their home in a way that drew people to us and then allow us to negotiate sales prices that were above the average and mean sales price for the comparables. So not only did it sell, the houses sell more quickly, but they sold for higher dollar values. And that's what sellers need to understand.
And I love what you're bringing to the table right now, because again, sellers have an idea that their house is worth this much, because like you said, the emotional attached to it. A lot of agents really are afraid to be very, what is the word I'm looking for, straightforward with the seller, saying, this is what really the comparable market is doing. And if you want to be sellers that are moving within 21 days from when you sell it, this is what I suggest to price it. But we have a lot of agents that they're like, we'll start with your sales price and then we'll knock it down and knock it down.
They're afraid of not getting the listing.
Yes. And let's talk about how that impacts really the neighborhood. Because I know, and I've talked to a lot of real estate agents, top-end agents, brand new agents, and they all agree that the best thing sometimes is not to lower the price, but maybe to give a little bit more incentives. Because now within the price of the home, now you're bringing in a little bit more value. How important is for the agent to be able to have that seller understand that it's a whole package. It's not just the price point, but it's a whole bunch of other little things that could set you apart. And hopefully close your house within the first 20, 35 days. That's really what you're looking for. If you're selling your house, you should be closing within 30 days, right?
That the goal is to be in contract within 30 days. Yes, yes. And that's something, again, some agents are very concerned with not getting the listing.
Correct.
I approach it from a different position, and I always have. I'm not going to take a listing if I don't think it's going to sell, because that does no one any good.
Beautiful.
I was contacted by clients last month. They're working with a current agent. They reached out to me just because they're not satisfied. The house has been sitting on the market 180 days, which is actually higher than the average for their price point.
Right.
And it's because they're overpriced, and they keep doing these little tiny price reductions that aren't getting them to where they need to be.
Right.
And again, I think sometimes sellers have a preconceived notion of what their house is worth, and you do have to tie in the whole picture, right? What is an offer going to look like? Do we have, based on how much the seller owes and how much equity they have, do we have room to negotiate? And if so, what might that negotiation look like? Would it be a reduction in price, an offer that's below asking? Would it be seller concessions to help buyers buy down their mortgage rate or cover closing costs? There's a tremendous range of what can happen, and that's why, for me personally, when I do a listing consultation, it's anywhere between 60 and 90 minutes. I mean, it's not fast, because I want the sellers to thoroughly understand the process and what they're getting into, and then there's the process that comes after it's listed, right? How is the marketing performing in compared to the marketing plan that I provide them with? How are we doing with regards to showings? What's happening? And how do we need to possibly adjust? When a home in a market is overpriced, a lot of times as more homes in that given community go on market, agents will try to price higher, right? We list your house for $600, and then the guy down the block and his wife list their house for $610, and then someone around the corner $615. Meanwhile, none of these houses are worth that. They're all worth in the mid-fives. And that's what happens when you drive into communities and you see 8, 9, 10 houses for sale that have been on the market, 200-300 days. Okay, that community was mispriced by the first agent, and then everybody else just fell in line. And what people don't realize is, in a situation like that, as opposed to trying to one-up the neighbor on price, if you go in the other direction,
you're going to sell.
All of a sudden, everybody's looking at your house, and wow, now all of a sudden your house sold, and it sells for more than you're asking, more than you thought it would be worth, quicker. The idea is to sell a home for the most that it is worth, the highest price, as fast as you can.
Correct.
Because the last thing you want sellers to do is get into a situation where they miss out on purchasing a home they may want, right? Or they're carrying 2 mortgages and 2 electric bills and 2 HOAs. Most people can maybe afford to do that for a couple of months, but could you imagine carrying 2 mortgages for 300 days? That would really put a dent in the holidays, right?
Yes. No,
So
definitely.
it's that type of thing as well. And as an agent, you have to look, we're the experts, right? Most people buy and sell a home every 7 to 10 years. It means that most adults in the course of their life own 4 homes, right? 5, maybe. Agents, successful agents, they're doing that every single month and have been doing it for years. So when you take into account a successful agent, they may have done in a 10-year period, 250 transactions. That's a lot of experience, right? And when I talk to my clients, I say to them, if you had a heart condition, I suppose you could do open heart surgery on yourself, but I don't know quite how successful that would be. Same thing with selling a home. Realtors provide a tremendous value. We don't just, successful ones, professional ones, take a house, throw it up on the MLS, and when someone calls, answer 2 or 3 questions and open escrow. We actively market and help you negotiate and help you get to where you want to be. And that's the true value we provide. I joke joke all the time, and it's really not a joke. And I tell my agents and my clients, the real work for a real estate agent starts once you get into contract.
Correct.
Once you open escrow. Everything before that's kind of pregame.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Right.
So that's for a buyer, these numbers and these stats, rather for a seller, these numbers and these stats, they help a seller understand where the market is today.
Right.
And how to react and how to set yourself up, set the expectation for what success in selling a home is going to look like.
Right.
Right. And then for buyers, it's completely opposite.
Right.
Right. For a buyer, saying to them, okay, look, you may have seen online, there's 6,100 and change single-family homes for sale in Las Vegas. Okay, great, but they're not all at your price point.
Right.
Right? They're not all in the location you want to live in. They're not all configured the way you need. Right? A couple of months ago, I had a client call me who I've been in contact for a couple of years, and they were ready to buy. And they were so excited. They called me. They said, listen, we want a house, 2,000 to 2,200 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2.5, 2-story, nice backyard. We'd kind of like a pool, gated community in Summerlin. And I said, great, that's fantastic. What are you looking to spend? And they said, well, between like $595 and $625. And I said, okay, whoa, hang on.
That's not Summerlin.
If you can find that house, you need to let me know because I'm going to buy it. So
Right.
we either need to adjust the location,
Right.
the type of property, or your budget.
Right.
If you want to live in Summerlin and you want to spend $600,000, we kind of have to compress
Right.
the type of house you're looking at, right?
Correct.
If you only want to spend $625,000, but you want everything you described, then we need to look in another area.
Correct.
Or if you absolutely want what you described in the area that you want, now we need much more in the way of budget, right? 'Cause
Right.
for that house in that particular area, you're now in the 8s,
Yes.
not in the 6s.
Right.
And that's sometimes the hard conversation to have with buyers.
Correct.
They think, well, it's a buyer's market. This is an $800,000 house. I'm going to offer 7 and they'll be lucky. Well, no. That it doesn't work that way because on the other side, that seller needs the proceeds from the house to do whatever it is they're going to do next.
Right.
And that's the setting of the proper expectation that we talked about just a few moments ago.
Right.
With buyers. Yes, you have a lot to choose from, but we need to narrow down the what, when, and where so that we can start looking in a way that's going to help you. And right now, new home construction,
Yeah.
right? People say all the time, well, new home construction is the way to go. They're offering these great rates, which is true, but it's a healthy practice to understand that. Are the rates 30-year fixed?
Right.
Are they temporary buy downs? Is it an ARM, an adjustable mortgage? Also, too, understanding that when you purchase a new home, just like with a new car, you're paying top market dollar
Right.
because it's new. Doesn't mean there's not negotiating there, but it's a brand new home. You are absolutely paying top dollar for it, plus options,
Right.
upgrades, and everything else. So it's understanding and working with buyers on a very personal, intimate level to drive down, to what they really are looking for. When I first started, the broker that I first started with, he instilled in me a great practice of asking buyers for their 5 wants and their 5 needs.
Okay.
Right? You want 4 bedrooms. You need 3.
Right. Yeah, yeah,
You
okay.
want a 3-car garage. You need a 2.
Yeah.
You want a pool. You don't really need a pool.
Right.
And then finding the happy median with a property that gives them all of their needs, right? Because those are musts,
Yeah.
right? Grandma lives with us. We need a bedroom downstairs with its own bath. And the wants. We want a pool because we like to go in pools. Okay, let's see if we can find something in that realm.
Right.
And setting that expectation correctly is just as important on the buyer side as it is on the seller side.
Right.
And with buyer's agents, right, because with agents that are working with sellers, they're afraid to say, no, your property's not worth that.
Right.
Some buyer's agents are afraid to say, listen, you can't get that for what you're looking for. That's not the price range we need to be in. They say, okay, yes.
Right.
And that's really doing a tremendous disservice to the client regardless of if they're buying or selling. Setting the expectation is paramount in any real estate transaction, because that's what it's always going to come back to. JC, you told me I could get all these things for $625, and now I don't see any properties like that. Or you have me looking in Pahrump. That's no good when my son goes to school here. So it's really setting it so that at the end of the transaction, the client looks back, buyer and seller both, and says, wow, you know what, yes, there were bumps along the way, because there always are, but my agent, my title company, my lender, they all worked together as a team. They got us through the process. And at the end of the day, I'm happy where I landed. Right. Years ago, before I became a real estate agent, my first real boss, when I got out of school and got a job, he said a successful negotiation is when both parties are equally miserable, but still willing to move forward.
Agreed.
I like to think a successful negotiation is when at the end of it, both parties look back and say, okay, that may have been challenging, but we got through it. We're on the other end, and now we're good. We're ready to go forward with life. Right. That's a successful negotiation.
And I love what you just told everybody, because there are two different point of views, but I think the common denominator is the expertise of the real estate agent dealing with either side of the party, right? Being able to tell that buyer, say, look, you know what, honestly, the expectations that you have are not, you can't find something 500,000 in Summerlin, but we could find something Summerlin adjacent, right? Absolutely. So there's many different options. And
there's beautiful communities all over Las Vegas.
Right.
And, people will ask us all the time, what's a good area to live in? Well, what's good for you? What do you like to do, right? If you like to hike, or you like, just do a lot of outdoors activities, or if you like to be close to the strip, good is subjective.
Yes.
Right? It's like when people say, what's a safe neighborhood to live in? Safe based on what criteria?
Correct.
So truly understanding your buyers and what it is they're going to do, that's a tremendous, tremendous advantage if an agent can ask those key questions during a buyer consultation, and then again, help guide the client so that they better understand, right? Because everybody knows the big master plan communities, right? They know Summerlin, they know Green Valley, they know Cadence, they know all these names, but they don't know how vastly different these communities are, and the adjacent communities that are equally as beautiful and desirable, that have their own special characteristics and benefits of living there.
Agreed.
And again, that's the expertise. People always say, well, why do real estate agents make what they make? That's why we make what we make. Because of the expertise that we bring to your transaction, as opposed to stumbling around in the dark, just like, again, a heart surgery, right? They have an expertise. You probably wouldn't go to them for dental work, but you definitely want them to do your bypass surgery.
That's right.
Same thing.
Right. And it's really important to, again, have an educated agent on what you're looking for, because we all have, well, I say we all, but, because I'm in the industry, but all of the real estate agents have the same data.
Sure.
Right? They all have access to the MLS.
Absolutely.
And everybody could pull the information based on the area, square footage, bedrooms, bathrooms, sales price and everything. But really understanding the difference between, what one community provides to the other community. And you brought up a whole bunch of new homes right now.
Yeah.
Well, what's the trade-off of getting a new home? Well, you're getting a brand new home, brand new development. It's probably a little bit, far away from downtown. It's a little bit far away from the strip, far away from the airport. And you're not getting a lot of, land in your lot. Because now they're all coming in with a community pool, a community park, and, community area and everything. But you have older neighborhoods that you still have a big enough yard. So getting all that information from the buyer to successfully help them identify their potential home is crucial.
And what's important, right, is the, like my wife and I, our home, we have a single family home. It's not on a very big lot. I can tell you in the 10 plus years that we've worked there, that we've lived there rather, I think I've gone into the backyard maybe 6 or 7 times.
Oh, wow.
We're not backyard people.
Okay.
So for us, huge giant lots serve absolutely no value. I look at it as it's that much more the landscaper is going to have to take care care of, so it's an expense.
Yes.
But we have friends where, it'll be the middle of February and they're outside barbecuing. And I'm like, why would you possibly do that? You could just go to Lucille's and pick up barbecue. It's super easy.
Yeah.
But again, that's why it's so important. And when you look at a lot of the new construction, they are bringing, community benefits where there are pools and playgrounds. You have all the advantage of having these things, but they're not something that you necessarily have to care for individually, right? And then you have communities like Summerlin and Sky Canyon where the community as a whole has multiple pools and, different centers and activities and things of that nature. So it's really understanding what a buyer is looking for takes time. It's not only the initial buyer consultation and then setting up a search. It's going and looking at homes and saying, oh, okay, being perceptive and saying, we looked at 4 homes and they didn't like any of them and here's why. Now, me, the agent, I have to go back and adjust their search criteria because I'm learning more about them. It's funny. A lot of clients tell me after a transaction, they kind of suffer from a little bit of separation anxiety.
Yes.
Because they go from speaking with me and emailing me and seeing me to congratulations, here's your keys, and, getting the phone call from me maybe once a month, maybe getting a text message from me, getting my annual, calendar that goes on the fridge. And, clients have said to me, it's kind of like, you were such a big part of our life and we're thankful for it, but it's over and now, you're kind of like the cousin that lives in another state.
Yeah.
My response is always, listen, we can talk on the phone as much as you want. I mean, I'm always here, but the job part of what I provided to you is over. Now, by all means, you want to be the resource. You need a handyman, an electrician. I had a client last year called me and asked me for a referral for a dentist. Sure, no problem. I can help with that, but you go from being primary to being a resource.
Yes.
Right?
And that's really important because, a lot of agents describe it as, we become friends. Well, yes, in a way, but also you are a resource. You're a resource for them, right?
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, during the whole transaction, the real estate transaction, you earn their trust, which there is no monetary compensation by earning somebody's trust. Of
course.
And when they trust you and they say, hey, Dave, do you know any good restaurants? You're going to be like, you know what? I know this, and that. And they're going to trust you that you're going to give them the vetted advice because you've proven to them that, for God's sake, you help them identify their biggest purchase of their life.
Their home.
So they 100% trust you. And it's important for you or the agent to continue to cater that relationship through many years because, like you said, eventually that buyer is going to become a seller.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's where being top of mind, that's the industry term, top of mind comes from. Because people deal with realtors that they know, like, and trust. And how you remain top of mind is being active in their lives without infringing upon them, right? And you're top of mind as an agent. You've made that impression when they do call you and ask you questions and need resources and referrals and things like that. And that's great. But if you look at a national statistic, more than 65% of people who buy a home do not sell that home with the agent they bought with. And that's no reflection on the client. That's the agent not doing their job and not keeping in touch with their clients. And it's a balance, right? Because you can't call them every day and say, hey, how you doing? But, you have to have a system. And this is something that Berkshire Hathaway in particular is phenomenal at helping agents manage and automate a way to keep in contact with your clients and to bring them not only relative real estate information, but information about what's going on in the community to enhance and add to the client's lives, right? By letting people know that, hey, listen, I don't know if you're interested, but here's a copy of the calendar for the Raiders. Maybe that helps, maybe it doesn't, right? Or, hey, the Greek food festival is coming or something like that. But it's not only a way to keep the lines of communication open, but more importantly, provide that added value. after the transaction, right? After you've been paid, after you've closed, after they've moved in, to the clients to help them enhance what it is to live in Las Vegas. Because living in Vegas and visiting Vegas are two different things, right?
Yes.
People who live here, we avoid the Strip at all costs.
Yes.
Right? We go when people visit and they want to go look at the fountains at the Bellagio.
Yeah.
But what about all the exciting things that happen off the Strip for locals? What about all the great places to go, all the things to do that tourists are never going to see because they're not going to drive 35 minutes off the Strip to go to Red Rock Canyon unless they actually have an interest in hiking and doing that.
Right.
So that's where being that resource comes from.
Right.
Right.
So now let's transition from your real estate professional helping buyers and sellers to your role as the manager at Berkshire Hathaway. You just gave a lot of real estate agents that are listening right now one of the few things that Berkshire Hathaway has been very successful on setting up for the agents to continue to keep in touch with the buyers. What other things? And again, I see you every week because I sit through your sales meetings, and I love the fact that not only you provide the monthly stats, you provide the middle of the month stats. So you're really giving them current market stats, but also you're always closing your meetings on bringing something that is just out, that maybe, a new restaurant or a new experience or something like that. How important is for you as a manager to share that information to your agents, so hopefully they could share that with their potential buyers and sellers, because other brokers, they don't do that. I've sat in their sales meetings and they don't do what you guys do. I'm sorry, but it's just the truth. How important is for you to really prepare your agents overall, not only real estate and everything, but like you said, is the Las Vegas experience that we're feeling? It's
essential. And I've been with other brokerages in the past and great places to work, great people to work with. I always had in my mind that Berkshire was truly next level. And I wasn't wrong at all. The Berkshire experience for the agents and for the team members is truly, truly next level, because not only do we provide the systems that agents look for, right? CRMs and marketing software and things of that nature, but we have the staff and the support people, right? We don't just have marketing software. We have an entire marketing department, right? We just don't have compliance. We have departments, human beings behind the software whose role, just like mine, is to provide the experience and the support for the agents. We have a term that we use here at Berkshire Hathaway that has been championed by our CEO, Troy Ryerson. Exceptional hospitality. And the adjective before the word hospitality changes, from exceptional to uncompromising to extraordinary, but always hospitality. Right. The role in leadership in real estate is different than other industries, right? It's not my role to tell agents what to do or how to do it or where to go, or you have to be in at 9 o'clock in the morning and I expect you to take lunch at 12. No. Right. It's a support structure. And in earnest, for me, the reason why I got into leadership was the opportunity to work with agents. That's the part of my job that I truly embrace and that I have a very, very deep passion for. It's what I like. It's why I come to the office, right? The reporting and the conference calls and the Zoom calls, that I kind of tolerate, right? But the working with the agents and helping an agent overcome a challenge, or seeing them take their career to the next level, or having a conversation with them and all of a sudden the light bulb goes off, right? And you can see it in their face. That, for me, is the reward, right? So in being a part of leadership, one of the challenges that a lot of brokers face is, you speak with agents who are interested in affiliating with your brokerage, and you tell them all the great things that you have to offer. Right. And I've gone through this on both sides of the desk. Right. And then the agent gets there, and all of a sudden, those great things are kind of there, or a resemblance of them are there, or they're there, but they require a tremendous amount of agent effort and input. And what I'm finding with Berkshire Hathaway, and it's funny because my boss is a gentleman named Aldo Martinez, and he called me years ago and tried to recruit me when he had my job. He's since been promoted. And I was just 100% against it because Berkshire is an expensive company for agents to affiliate affiliate with.
Okay.
It's costly.
Right.
And I didn't see the value, and I pretty much shut him down. And to his credit, he stayed in contact with me. And when he contacted me about joining the organization, we had a very in-depth conversation about this in particular. And now, having been on the other side, I can't tell you how many times I have said to him, I kick myself daily for not listening to you when you called me years ago, because I have no doubt in my mind my real estate business would have been completely different.
Right.
And when I say that, I mean in an immeasurably better way had I affiliated with Berkshire Hathaway years ago.
Right.
Simply because I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know what I was missing. I didn't have the opportunity to experience the Berkshire phenomena that it truly is. And I've worked with some truly amazing, fantastic, brilliant brokers and some great brokerages, but nothing like this. I mean, absolutely, as a person who's active in real estate, not only management, I mean, I was able to sit down with an individual in our marketing department, and, you know, things like my newsletter and my holiday emails and all of that is automated.
Yeah.
I don't even touch it anymore, yet it's completely customizable and relevant and valued, because I have clients calling me and saying, hey, I got your new newsletter, I have a question.
Right.
So I've actually gotten to the habit of reading the newsletter so that I'm prepared.
Right.
And it's just little things like that. And then it's the above and beyond. It's the soft touch that nobody sees, right? I had one of the agents who was an agent of mine at a previous brokerage reach out to me on a Saturday and say, listen, I have a question. It's urgent. It has to do with the transaction. I can't get a hold of any of my brokers. The one that I did get a hold of said, well, what do you want me to do? It's Saturday. Use ChatGPT or tell the client to wait till Monday. And this was maybe 8:30 in the evening on a Saturday. And while, of course, I would rather have 8:30 in the evening to watch Netflix with my amazing wife, I said to him, well, okay, what is it? And it was the type of thing, the agent knew what they needed to do. They just needed a sounding board. And, you know, I've you know, here at Berkshire Hathaway, the leadership team, we have meetings and conversations and conferences all focused on how do we bring that concept of hospitality to our agents. The agents are not a burden.
No.
They are the very reason we are here. And if the leadership team here at Berkshire Hathaway wasn't truly agent-centric, and that wasn't truly the variable that drives us to do what we do, there is no way any of us would ever survive as part of Berkshire leadership. They would cut loose of us so fast our feet wouldn't hit the ground. So it's that passion that they look for. And, you know, as agents who are here start to experience this ever expanding, because it's always they're always looking for, how do we do this better? What's new that we can add? What can we give the agents to help them do more, right? Because we are truly the world's largest boutique brokerage. As agents who have been with us, and it's the reason why, you know, agents who start with Berkshire tend to spend their whole career here, but the new agents coming in, they're almost overwhelmed where they have to take a step back and go, whoa, you offer this? We have that? So we've learned for new agents coming in, whether they were with other brokerages or brand new, to kind of chunk it for them. Let's look at marketing first. Then let's introduce you to our escrow partners. Let's introduce you to this, that, and so that we can bring them, you know, maybe over a 4, 6, 8 month period, so they can truly understand everything that's going on. And that's the Berkshire advantage. That's the difference that, you know, we were talking about median sales price, right? So last month, the median sales price here in Las Vegas was in the 470 range. For my branch here in the Southwest, our median sales price was over $717,000.
That's awesome.
It's almost double.
Yeah.
And, most brokerages, they say, well, we would like, at least 30% of our agents producing 6 to 10 transactions a year.
Right.
That doesn't come anywhere near when you look at a Berkshire office.
Yeah. And let me step in right here, because Berkshire Hathaway has the top real estate agent professionals and teams in our city.
Without doubt.
Working. And the craziest things that when you start talking to these agents and these teams and everything, they all been with Berkshire Hathaway 10 plus years.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that longevity of the teams and the growth and everything, that shows a lot, because there's not a revolving door. There's not, there's stability, there's big players. And then when you have a brand new agent coming in, I've noticed that a lot of your seasoned agents, successful agents, top teams and everything, they're willing to take the time to educate and, help maneuver this massive craziness of real estate with the newer agents.
Absolutely.
And that is so cool, because you don't see that a lot with other firms. You have the top agent and you barely see him in the office, so he has his own little private office and he doesn't get involved. I mean, it's just, really cool when you have those big agents coming in and getting involved within the offense activities and everything. So it does feel more like a family feeling, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense.
The value that Berkshire brings is multidimensional, right? It's for starters, most agents could never afford to buy the systems and the support that we already have in place, right? It would be completely cost prohibitive because they don't have our scale, right? They can't buy on the same scale Berkshire Hathaway can.
Right.
Also, too, when you talk about experienced agents, we have agents that host classes, not just leadership agents who basically volunteer and dedicate time that they could otherwise use for building their own business or, going out and playing pickleball or, watching Netflix or whatever it is they do on their off time, who are instead choosing to not only develop a curriculum, but go through the process of having it approved and then sharing their experience with agents in a formal setting. And then you have the informal, right? I mean, if you go into any Berkshire office here in Nevada, you will see agents in the office, which is in of itself a rarity, right?
Right.
But you will also see people conversing, right? People with 30 years of experience and people who've had their license 30 minutes and everything in between.
Yes.
And it's this free flow of information and ideas because we don't view each other as competition. Look, the clients that work with me because they know, like, and trust me. They're not going to work with anybody else.
Right.
So I have no problem sharing what I know with another agent because guess what? I'm not going to ever come across that other agent.
Exactly.
And it's that difference, that feeling. You use the word family, and that's true, but I look at it more as community. Yeah. Right? It's the opportunity to find a place where you can learn and grow and where there's no reason to look around. Because the only reason agents move from one brokerage to another is because they believe they're not getting something and this other brokerage is going to offer it to them. But when you check all the boxes and you're constantly striving to stay ahead of the check boxes that are coming, you give your agents no reason to leave. And for an agent who spent some time with different brokerages, the anxiety that goes along with that and the challenge of switching brokerages, to be able to affiliate with a brokerage that one is sustainable, right? Berkshire Hathaway isn't going anywhere.
It's a major brand.
Right. We're not going to vanish tomorrow. Right. It's not like we just started here in Vegas and we're going to be gone in 2 months when the plans don't come together. And we have the ability to provide through our financial power the things that the agents need. You remove that curiosity of, well, I wonder if I went here if there would be something I'm missing. No. If you feel you're missing something, come and tell me. Right. And then I will find out. Odds favor we already have it and neither of us know about it, or it's something that's in the pipeline anyway, and now we need your contribution to understand from an agent level, how do we put the finishing touches on it? And because honestly, I mean, the investment that Berkshire makes in what they bring to their agents is insurmountable. I mean, it's completely, it's funny when we talk about in the manager meetings, the costs of the things that we do.
Right.
Makes the back of my head explode. Not that I'm cheap, but I have been called resourceful. And I like that. To myself, wow. And the whole thing is not how much does it cost, but what is it going to add? And how is it going to help our agents do more, right? Sell more properties, increase their price point, whatever it is they're trying to do. Yeah. So it's really, when they say Berkshire is next level, until you experience it, you genuinely cannot fathom what that encompasses, because it's just so enormous.
No, I totally agree with you, because I'm a marketing rep for a title company, so I'm out there meeting agents from all different firms and everything. And by far, not because you're sitting in front of me, but I've said it in the past before, the marketing software that you guys have developed, because it's an internal development thing, it's a Berkshire thing. Once you join Berkshire, you have access to this immediately. It is unbelievably easy, and it's so accessible that a lot of agents are, call me sometimes like, hey, can you guys do a postcard? No, we're a title company, we don't do postcards. I said, but if you're a Berkshire Hathaway agent, you have this system, and I kind of talk to them about it. They're like, whoa, this is. Not a lot of firms have that
already there.
Yes,
you click it and it's immediately personalized.
Yes,
and it can. And again, it's not just the software, because brokerages have software.
Right.
It's the people behind it. Did you make an appointment with your marketing coordinator to sit down in the office or on Zoom or on phone call so that they can actually walk you through it? Something little, right? Headshots.
Yes.
Right. It drives me crazy when agents catfish people with headshots that were taken, 20 years ago.
Right.
Agents every Thursday in our St. Rose office show up and get your headshot taken.
Nice.
You can have as many, you can literally go every week and get a new headshot if you want. And there's no cost associated with it. It's just something that is provided because we know the value of ensuring that agents have up-to-date headshots that they can be proud of, because let's face it, our pictures are everywhere.
Yes,
right?
they
From
are.
Business cards to social media to being on podcasts. So it's important when I show up that I look like my picture.
Yes,
right?
100%.
I don't look like I did in college.
Right.
And little things like that. That's why, again, the Berkshire experience, when I say it's next level, yes, it's the big things, but it's the little things, the things that are going to directly affect how an agent runs their business day to day that makes the difference. It's the little tiny touches, right? The little thing that most brokerages, not only wouldn't they ever think of it, but it would never cross their path. And if it was brought up to be like, just go get your headshots. The detail that we drive down to is I hate to use the word overwhelming, but honestly, sometimes that's what it feels like, because there's so much that we have this catalog of what we can do. And it's great because, in earnest, most agents don't use all of it. They don't need to, but it's there when you're ready. It's not, I need to run across the street to the other brokerage. No. You simply need to pick up the phone or walk in my office or send someone a text or shoot out an email, even with our business partners, right? Equity Title. Equity Title was a pre-existing brand. You're a national title company that we have chosen to partner with, as opposed to saying, you know what, we're going to open Berkshire Hathaway Title Services. No. We went out and found the best title partner we could and said, hey, how about a strategic partnership? Right? Because the majority of escrows that you guys do are not Berkshire escrows.
Yeah, exactly.
So that we have this partnership, this link, to provide our agents and say, look, we didn't just cook this up in the back room. We did our due diligence. You now have the absolute best title partners we could find with all our resources. There you go. Right?
And that makes a big difference, because you have a lot of agents out there that feel stuck, especially right now. We didn't even finish talking about the rest of the stats and everything, but a lot of agents feel stuck. They get sucked into what the newscast is saying. The broker is probably the same, like, oh my God, the market is horrible. But yet here you guys going, no, the market is fine. You just got to find your niche. You just got to find your why. You just got to find, and if you need help on marketing, here's our staff. And I know that we can't really get into details, but I was at your award ceremony, and Troy.
Isn't that great?
Oh, it was phenomenal.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah, and Troy was there, and the things that you guys are kind of come and offer your agent, which we could not talk about it, and we're not going to talk about it.
Soon, but not yet.
It's just, you guys are, as a brand, you guys are definitely thinking outside the box and getting with the time.
Yeah. Next level is not just a catchphrase.
Right.
Right. It's a living. Exceptional hospitality. It's not just a tagline.
Right.
It's a way of approaching a business principle to give the agents not only everything that they already know they need, but to be anticipating what's going to happen. What's the scenario going to look like? And how are we going to be first to market? You know,
Right.
I see every transaction that comes through my office, absolutely every single one. And I can tell you the agents in my office, the agents at Berkshire Hathaway, are helping people buy and sell homes at a higher rate than we have seen in years.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because the next level experience that we bring to them and the extraordinary hospitality we bring to them, they bring to their clients. There is a difference.
Yeah.
Who you choose to work with matters.
100%.
And there is a difference between a Berkshire agent and a non-Berkshire agent, right? My sister-in-law has been a Berkshire agent in California for years, and she used to tell me all the time, there's two companies in real estate, Berkshire and everyone else. And until you experience it, whether you are a client looking to buy and sell and you deal with a Berkshire agent, and you go, wow, okay, next level, that means something. Or you are an agent and you come in and you meet with someone in Berkshire leadership and choose to affiliate yourself and go, wow, extraordinary hospitality, that really is alive. You don't know what it's like until you experience it. And I, myself, am the absolute example of that. I should have listened to Aldo years ago, and there's no doubt in my mind, none.
Yeah.
My successful real estate business would have been not only completely different and for the better, but just completely next level. It would have been very different, and I'm almost a little grateful, oddly enough, that I didn't listen to him, because now I'm so appreciative, and when I meet with agents, I bring that passion and that understanding. Listen, I understand what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
I was there. I am there. Let me tell you the difference.
Right.
And it's until you experience it, regardless of on which plane, there truly is nothing like Berkshire Hathaway.
That's great. And I'll tell you something. I have had the experience to be mingling with the management team, and they're all phenomenal. And then also,
That'd be your favorite, right?
yeah, of course, yeah. So that's why I'm here every Tuesday with you. But you know what? Just having the fact that Troy, the CEO of the company, is at any given sales team, sales meeting, at any given branch, and he's so accessible to just come up and say, hey, I have this idea, and he will sit there and talk to you and really give you his point of view. It's unheard of.
The guy opens every kind, and keep in mind, this is the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, Arizona, California, and Nevada. So you're talking thousands of agents. When I tell you, he opens every conversation with, I just had lunch with this agent. And it's not just him, it's Aldo, our VP of Corporate Initiatives, right? It's Rick, our VP of Sales. It's hey, I just had this conversation. Hey, I just had lunch. Hey, this was just brought to my attention. Hey, I bumped into this agent at Albertsons. It's like, wait a second. And that expands across the entire management team. We are one company. I can't tell you how many times an agent will stick their head in my office and say, hey, you know, I'm not one of your agents. I'm from the Summerlin office, but I have a question. And when I first started, I used to take 2 minutes and explain, listen, no, you are one of my agents.
Right.
And now I just jump right to how can I help you? But it's that sort of leadership, starting at the very top and at every level in every department. where people are agent focused, and you don't find that in so many agencies, so many brokerages. Agents are treated like a burden.
Yes.
Right? And they feel like a burden.
Yeah.
Right? And it's the type of thing where, you go into some of these brokerages and you just feel the weight in the air. That's not us.
No.
In a lot of brokerages that have multiple offices, there's a little bit of animosity when an agent wants to leave one office and go to
the
another.
other. Yes.
With us, it's not like that.
Right.
We want our agents in whatever environment is best for them. And guess what? Each office, yes, we're all the same, but we all have a distinct little flavor.
Yes,
right?
you do.
And we want you with your tribe at the end of the day, because that's where you're going to be successful. So if Southwest is not, I can't tell you how many times I will pick up the phone, and how many times it happens to me. Hey, I just met with this agent. They're great, but you know what? They belong in St. Rose.
Yeah.
Or how many times someone will say to me, hey, I just met with this agent, but you know what? Southwest is where they should be. Or our brand new agents coming out of school. The fact that we have the Real Estate Academy,
that
right?
is
A structured, curriculum-focused training program with its own leadership to help brand new agents learn how to be real estate agents, right? Not the theory and how to pass the test that you get in school, but how to do the job with full-time staff and management.
Yeah.
That is nowhere, you don't find that anywhere else. And again, going back to the resources, you're talking about dedicated space, dedicated people. When this was first rolled out to me, the conversation that I had with Aldo, my boss, was, what's the catch?
Right.
Right? What is this going to, because the agents have a chance to learn and then matriculate into a branch what they're producing. And my response to him was, and I know he rolls his eyes a lot when he talks to me, and that's okay, what's the catch? What is this going to cost me?
Right.
Nothing. It's all about starting their career off and moving them into a branch when they're ready so they can be successful, and then opening up this amazing curriculum and this amazing resource to our existing agents. You could have your license for 30 years. You can still go to an academy class if you want. And I've gone to them. And it's unbelievable.
And listen, being part of the I actually taught one of the social media classes at the academy class.
Isn't it crazy?
It is unbelievable.
It's half experienced agents and half brand new agents. It's
and you know what? I mean, one of the things, and just so you guys know, they actually teach you how to make videos.
Yeah.
They'll take you to new home sales, and they have this relationship with new home sales. And say, hey, we're bringing in a whole bunch of agents, and we're going to be here for a couple of hours shooting. And literally, they're sitting there showing you how to.
They're called field trips.
Yes, and it's just phenomenal. So
it is. It's and again, that's just another example when we say next level, and when we use terms like overwhelming hospitality. That's what it means.
Yeah.
So many companies have these catchphrases and taglines, and they say, well, wear this, wear that. But here at Berkshire, we live that, and that's why our agents are able to go out into the field and have the relationships and the success with their clients, because they're living that environment, that experience in the office. It raises the bar, it raises the standard in the industry.
Right.
And I got to tell you, I've apologized to my sister-in-law, but when she said two brokerages, Berkshire and everybody else, boy, she hit that nail square on the head. Yeah. And it really, it's hard to communicate verbally with someone until they live it. And then, you speak to our clients and the feedback our agents get, and the level of satisfaction and the whole buying and selling experience with a Berkshire agent. It's just different. It's organic.
Right. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If there's a real estate agent out there that's feeling like, you know what, maybe I should bring my business to the next level. I should really look into partnering with Berkshire Hathaway. How can somebody do that?
Call me. I'll point you in the right direction. Listen, we're not for everybody.
Right.
And I know every brokerage says this, but here it's genuinely true. We don't want every single realtor out there.
Good.
We want the right realtor. And there have been situations, I'll be honest with you, where I've had to tell agents, listen, this is not a good fit for you.
Right.
It's not going to be good for you. It's not going to be good for us. I think you're a great person, but you really need to go somewhere else.
Right.
Call me. We'll have a conversation. If it's not for you, it's it's not for you. But if it is for you, that's where the lightning happens, right? That's where it becomes something next level.
Right.
And all they have to do is pick up the phone. You can reach me virtually anytime, and we'll work out which branch is the best branch for you to go talk to. Maybe you talk to all of us.
Right.
How can we sit down? What are your goals? What is it that you want out of this relationship with Berkshire Hathaway? And listen, if we think we can deliver that for you, we'll tell you.
Nice.
But more importantly, if we think we can't, we'll help you set that expectation. Remember we talked about expectation?
Yeah, exactly, yes.
We'll help you set that expectation correctly and then go from there. And at the end of the day, listen, whether it's an agent of mine or an agent who wants to come to us or an agent in another brokerage, I want agents to do a better job.
Right.
I want the public opinion, the visibility, what people think of our industry to be better than it is now.
100%.
However I can contribute to that, I'm willing to. If you want to find out more about Berkshire Hathaway, call me. If it's a good fit for you, great. We'd love to have you. If not, you know what? That's okay too.
Now, let me ask you, if I'm a buyer or seller, and I love what you were just talking about, stats and how you treat your buyers and how you handle your sellers and everything, how can I get a hold of you?
Well, you can feel free to contact me. I'd be more than welcome to have a conversation with you and help match you with an agent or agents that might be a good fit, and you can interview them and decide for yourself. We have an amazing website. That's not just a landing page. It really is a great website. You can go on and you can take a look at all of the agents we have here in Southern Nevada or in Arizona and California, actually nationwide.
Right.
And you can read their bios. You can see their pictures. You can look at the properties that they're working on, and you can make the decision yourself. So you can do it independently,
Nice.
or you can call any of our offices and say, hey, I'm looking to buy and sell, have a conversation with a member of leadership, and they will help you find the agent or agents
Right.
that are going to be best suited for what you want.
Right.
And then, like anything else, you make an informed decision as a consumer,
Right.
and partner with a professional that's going to get you where you want to be.
Very cool. Well, Dave, you're not going to believe this, but the
That's an
hour is gone.
Yeah, well, before we started, JC said to me, this hour is going to go faster than you thought, and I thought to myself, an hour, and lo and behold, here we are.
Yes, here we are. So I want to really, I want to thank you and appreciate your time that you took to do this. I think that we haven't really even scratched the surface. I think we could probably set up for a second episode conversation about it. And I really appreciate you taking the time. Again, I get to see you in action every Tuesday when you talk to your agents, and I just love the fact that, you do care so much for your agents. And it's not only the agents here, but it's all the agents of Berkshire Hathaway. So if you're a real estate agent and you're looking for a new start, a great stability firm, I would say, call Dave. Call him, have a conversation with him. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but at least you gain a friend.
Yeah.
Because if you have a question, you can always call him and say, hey, I have this question, right? So I want to thank you very much as well, Dave. If you want to go ahead and give us your contact info, I will really appreciate that.
Sure, absolutely. The best way to reach me is telephone 702-575-0153. You can call me anytime you want.
Perfect. Well, my name is JC Castillo. You guys know me. I am here with Equity Title. And like I always tell you guys, Mr. Buyer, Mr. Seller, you guys have the right to choose the title company. So if you guys want great service, like you said, David and Equity Title and Berkshire Hathaway, we have a partnership. So if you guys want to have great service in title and escrow, we're here to serve you. Please stay tuned for the next show. Make sure that if you like the show, give us a thumbs up. If you don't like it, let us know as well. And we will definitely adjust to make sure that we'll bring you the right information. We are here every day as possible. And we'll see you here until the next episode.